The illusion of taming the unknown is the moment when the fangs of the tamed unknown once again catch the scent of light. Not an instrument measuring existence, but existence itself. The flickering of words dreaming. Sensibility is tormented by physiological vibrations beyond the skeleton of logic. At the limit point of tactile modality, an attempt to access the ontological structure of the impossible object. Doubt is not negation, but a form of love for understanding that is eternally unfinished. When we weave knowledge, its threads inevitably pass through the rift of ignorance to return to light. At the limit of thought, we finally feel, and at the end of feeling, thought is reborn. At the edge of night, when the movement of ideas drops the spoon, the world is a faint sound as the sign of self-identity vanishes from the horizon of consciousness. Forgetfulness is kindness without light, and we recognize things only by straining our eyes toward that darkness. Doubt is not a seed, but a presence. It refuses to be planted, drifting without roots. Sensibility is glass, but glass is not the sea. Trace the cracks etched within it, and the boundary between past and future melts away unnoticed, time becoming a threadbare cloth slipping through. Transcendence is not a distant name, but a sign carved into the opposite pole of certainty whispering nearby. What must be crossed is not the external world, but the certainty we already possess. Upon the ashes where certainty burned out, doubt draws a new star chart. The star chart glows cold in the hand, altering the thoughts of those who touch it. Doubt is music. When dissonance rings out, the melody approaches truth. Transcendence can only be heard within that melody. We hold exquisite glasswork aloft in both hands, calling it reality and finding comfort. Yet beyond that glass, the breath of chaos ceaselessly shakes our retinas. Words seem like signposts pointing the way, yet they are truly lattices concealing the landscape itself. The self-referential serpent devours its own tail, and the circle closes, as a perfect, exitless prison. A gentle breeze may blow through the slightest crack in that circle. That is doubt. Yet the doubt discussed here is not the ordinary scales that ask, is that true or false? And it is a vertigo that reduces to nothingness the fulcrum of the scales themselves, the very weights to be measured. A serene sensibility that visits only in that weightless instant when the thread of logic snaps. It is sensibility. An aesthetic sensibility that savors the absence of answers not as a void, but as the richness called infinite possibility. A sensibility that finds beauty not in striving for a single point of light called truth, but in the modeled patterns woven by light and shadow. That liberation akin to desolation when one realizes the most intricate fiction is but a sandcastle crumbling at the water's edge. Doubt transcends contemplation, a celebration of that moment of supremacy. Like a single grain of salt dissolved in the sea, ceasing to recognize itself as salt, and becoming simply the vast sea itself. The doubt I harbored is no longer my possession. It is an anonymous marginal note embedded within the colossal text that is the world. An elegant device through which the world itself, via the reader that is me, savors its own uncertainty and becomes ecstatically intoxicated by its own abyss. Standing at the dawn of this consciousness, perpetually awakening from the slumber of certainty, I simply listen intently. Only unwritten resonances fill the space. It is the medium that mediates the self. It exists as the breath of transparent negation. Doubt is no longer not knowing. It is the inner impulse of knowledge itself to collapse. Existence abandons the proposition to exist and trembles only as the trace of an infinite desire to be. Sensibility is but the reverberation of that tremor. Yet that reverberation is the pre-meaning light that exists before all meaning. Thought is an attempt to listen to the structure of darkness. Transcendence is neither ascent nor excess, but the process by which meaning melts its own skeleton, the instant it loses its object. There, truth falls silent, and silence transforms into truth's vowel. Deep within thought, doubt becomes pure pitch, passing through the carcass of concepts, leaving a faint glow. The ear that hears this is the pinnacle of sensibility, a transparent nerve ending gauging the temperature of absence. To think, to doubt, to feel. These are not three distinct movements, but merely different names for one infinite folding. At the end of thought, we sense the absence of thought itself. There, sensibility blooms as infinite silence. It emits the scent of imaginary numbers, seeping light through the cracks of certainty. The moment one touches that scent, existence becomes imaginary once more. Doubt is a boundless tactility, not a point but a phase.